Hey, beauties, good evening to you. Beautiful people. So, I was sitting listening in on live today, and they're talking about the whole political campaign and just GLP, PNP, politics, politricks, whatever it is that you would want to dub it. And people were giving their own perspectives on which side they think should be in and which side should be out, and so on. But a gentleman came on, and I can appreciate people's perspectives and their, what should I say, your support of a particular party because one horse cannot run a race. It's not going to be considered a race if one horse is in it. The horse is just running on a track. So I have no problems if you want to be GLP, PNP, or whichever party, Democratic Party in our country or across the world. What I would want people to be, though, is to be very fair and to be just and to not try to put down one to lift up another where it does not need to be. For example, you really shouldn't do it any at all, but let me qualify what I'm talking about. So the fellow started to speak and he said he's in support of Mark Golding, and he was saying, let us look at his credentials, so to speak. And he talked about him going to Mona Preparatory, I think he said. Then he went to Campion, then he went to Oxford University, whatnot. And he said, let us look at the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister's accolades. So he went to, I don't know what school he went to, if it's a primary school, because as far as I know, he was born in some sort of poverty or struggling or whatever it is, not a wealthy man or not among the rich. And then he went to St. Catherine's, the high school there. And then he went to the University of the West Indies where he did his first degree and his master's. I don't remember what they said the first degree was in. I think it was management studies and something about, and the master's was in something called development studies. It falls under the social sciences, under SOCI. And he said, what is that? What is that? What kind of a thing? I had to look at it. And I'm like, I said, no, but I really don't understand this man. So because you don't know what it is, what do you mean, what is that? The leader of the opposition has what you would call a professional degree. He's a lawyer by profession. I don't remember what else he has. His family are from a well-to-do, in terms of their generation and all of that. I mean, I've often heard about his father. To this day, I don't know about him. People say don't know his father, and people, I don't even remember his name right now, believe it. You'd be surprised that I'm really not good with names and I don't know people. I'm not saying it with pride, it is just a reality. That is why in life we all have to humble ourselves. No matter how popular you think you are, there is always that sect or group who just don't know who you are and have no clue to who you are. All right? But what I know is that he comes from a wealthy family. So naturally, let me tell you something. So when he was playing down, I don't think the man was listening to himself. So another caller came in and said, something I don't appreciate with people. Because do you realize that Mark Golding's family are wealthy people and they were born in England and they have the wherewithal to go to Oxford and these top universities? Let me tell you something, beautiful people. Let me tell you something, beautiful people. You see, with these, the only difference between these top universities and you'd probably say average or a little bit above average universities. And let me say, when I say the word average, it is a fact that they cater to the elite. They cater to the elite, the well-to-do families. So if you can afford to go, then you go. So it is sometimes considered a top university. But in terms of education, in terms of the learning lessons that they give or that they offer, it is not, for example, you're getting caviar there and just getting a little steak at other universities. The University of the West Indies is an accredited university. It is a top university. You have many stalwarts, many brilliant minds, my beautiful people, who actually studied at the University of the West Indies, Mona. I don't know if you think that they're going to teach you some lessons that only people, and I'm being sarcastic when I say only people living in Pluto and Jupiter. No. The only difference that separates them is probably social and economic status because of who is who. And they have the wherewithal. That's the only thing, but not in terms of the learning literacy, on a higher scale. That's the only difference. The other universities, they probably make it affordable for the average person to come to. So they may not be called an Oxford or a Princeton or a Yale. That's usually the difference. I can tell you, it is usually the difference. Because some of the people, when they hear that they come from Oxford and Yale, you have to wonder to yourself, or you say, okay, okay. Don't get me wrong, notwithstanding, they're going to hire the best of the best in terms of lecturers and, provide certain facilities and amenities and whatnot. Do not get me wrong. But it's about the mind, it's about the individual. If you decide that you're going to learn and allow that learning that you've garnered to be that transforming agent in your own life and in the lives of others, let me tell you, it is as though you would have gone to an Oxford University. I don't think it was very. I thought when he bemoaned, almost like he bemoaned and created a vitriol around the prime minister's own accolades, what he would have acquired and garnered. He didn't even and I'm not saying that he's as brilliant or as Mark Golding. Not everyone will have a similar kind of IQ. Not everyone will, because some of the things that he may not be good in, Mark Golding may be good in, it may not be good in. Let me say that over again. I don't recall what I just said. Some of the things that the Prime Minister he may be a little bit better in, a skill that he has as it relates to leading our country. Maybe Mark Golding does not possess that, and maybe it's an ingredient that he would need. And similarly, there are things that Mark Golding would be stronger at, that the Prime Minister probably does not possess. We have to be very careful, my beautiful people, that we do not play down our own universities here in Jamaica, in the Caribbean and so on. Because it's not Oxford, it's not Princeton, it's not Yale. Sometimes the only demarcation I can tell you is probably just the economics. The fact that it is a well-to-do people that can afford to go there and that goes to those universities. But when you go and you see the curriculum and you hear how the lecturers present their own thing, you say to yourself, but wait. Okay, I thought I was going to learn something that only people on Pluto, Jupiter, there are no people on Pluto and Jupiter, would know, based on how people, come on, beautiful people. If you're brilliant, you're brilliant. Great Trevor Monroe and so forth. I know that they studied at the university, they never had it, and they got all A's. Brilliant man. So, when that guy, I wanted him to present his arguments on the basis of leadership. And by the way, somebody being brilliant doesn't mean that they have the art to being a good leader or to leadership, effective leadership. There are many people who are brilliant, but they cannot teach. They can't impart that information to people. They're just not good at it. It's a skill. It is an art form. It is a skill that is either it is innate or there is a potential from your young for you to become that. So you can be so brilliant. Your IQ can probably be about 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. I'm using hyperbole. I'm exaggerating it for you to understand. And by the time for you to explain that to somebody, you don't. I remember when I was doing my first degree, there was a particular lecturer. I don't know if it was because of the accent barrier, because she spoke English, and I really didn't understand one thing she was teaching. I sat and I opened my mind and I said, I'm going to listen, I'm going to focus, and I could not comprehend. And people were telling me how this is a brilliant woman and she has this accolade and that. I said, okay, all right. I never learned one earthly thing. I kid you not. It took a simple woman who didn't have her accolades at all, who, when she spoke, somebody said, Toni-Ann, come, this girl is very good. She can teach you this thing. And when I went there, let me tell you, it's like a light bulb. It was an epiphany. I said, what? I learned. So don't do that, beautiful people. Don't play down our universities, our Jamaican people, to make it seem as if, what kind of university that I'm going to? I don't know what kind of degree that. No, don't do that. And having, argue on the basis of leadership, what they have done for the country, what they have done for the people. Don't do that. Yes, don't do that. Don't play down our universities. Don't do it. We have an accredited university and they're good and people become stalwarts. People are doing very well. They're creating changes for the better, creating transformation in the lives of people, bringing in more wealth, So, I really was disappointed. I was hoping that he would have, streamlined his argument on the basis of leadership, not those accolades. Guys, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this message.